I'm 95% sure that by the end of this video, I will have quit my job. But after some reflection, I've decided that to go all in on YouTube with 2,000 subscribers. And as stupid as that sounds, let's talk about how it's come to this. We often ask questions to guide our most significant life decisions. Those might sound like, will this make me happy, wealthy, comfortable, desirable, safe? Through most of my late 20s and early 30s, I made decisions based around questions of freedom. This approach worked well for the most part. It took me from this to this. It took me from here to here to here to here. I moved to new cities, built social lives from scratch. I lived out of a backpack and sat in front of spiritual gurus. I solved my money problems and excelled in my career. For all practicality's sake, I was free. But at 34, I found one freedom was anxiously unfulfilled. I'm not sure I feel free to really be me. So how is it that we can wake up one day in our late 20s, 30s, 40s, look at the things that we've built in our life, even the most objectively amazing things, and somehow feel like it's inauthentic? We've done everything we can to be good, but we don't feel good. Renowned physician and author Gabor Mate defines authenticity as our capacity to be in touch with our true selves, our emotions, desires, inner experiences, and gut feelings, and to express them honestly in the world. But that's easier said than done. In society, in professional life, in romance, in everyday encounters with strangers, and particularly in childhood, we receive subtle or not so subtle messages that put us in conflict with ourselves. And that message sounds something like this. You can have your authenticity, or you can have your attachments, the relationships and the things that you want. But you can't have both. And so in childhood, to not upset our caregivers, and then in adulthood, to be good corporate citizens, we lean towards suppressing our inner truth just to get along. This suppression can be subtle, and in many cases relatively harmless. I mean, we'll all at some point have to put on a costume that doesn't fit quite right in order to become self-sufficient. But at a certain point, we may get so good at wearing that costume that society pats us on the back and rewards us with stability, right? Our basic needs are met, and our future seems safe and predictable. And it's often this newfound safety and efficacy that creates the space for the tension of inauthenticity to arrive. Suddenly, that friction between our inner truth and our external behavior begins to feel a bit uneasy or abrasive. Those parts of us that we shove down or we labeled as unproductive or as a nuisance, they begin to rise to the surface and they say, hey, I'm still here. And I'm actually a truth in you that wants to be expressed. And with that, moments where you used to disregard your intuition, or chronically people please, or ignore your body telling you no, those moments now become a moment to pause and to reflect, because you're getting in touch with the cost of being at odds with yourself. Martha Beck defines integrity as a state when all parts of a person are in alignment. And she compares personal integrity to an airplane with structural integrity. When all parts of a plane are working as it should, the plane moves smoothly, safely towards its destination. When I suddenly found myself living out of integrity, I paid the cost for as long as I could stand it. And the price was burnout, irritability, lethargy, depression. And it eventually became non-negotiable, where my plane just couldn't fly anymore. I was falling apart mid-flight. And that prompted me and forced me to set aside my old questions around financial and physical freedom, and even questions of security, and to focus on a question that made me come face to face with my own integrity. I know it's the right thing to do for me. It's what I need to do. And it's a lot of things. It's emotional, But I can't keep living between two worlds. I have to trust my inner voice, and trusting that inner voice requires me to take a leap. So here it goes. In any significant decision in life, there's likely two paths. One path that may feel unknown or daunting, and although it may require facing fear, uncertainty, there's a deep felt sense that path will lead to your personal growth and alignment in your authenticity. And then there's a second path, and this path likely feels more comfortable or familiar. It's not bad. It likely maintains the status quo, but there's, again, a felt sense that path will likely lead to you feeling a bit hollow, restless, bored, burnt out. When we end up in this fork in the road, what is the question we should consider asking of ourselves? For me, it's a question posed by the author and psychoanalyst James Hollis, who gives us a question that helps us resist that urge to choose based solely on what alleviates anxiety and to make a choice that aligns us with our deeper truth. And that question is this: does this path, does this choice, does it diminish me or enlarge me? This question is not logical, right? You can't think your way into it. And the answer likely arises as a spontaneous gut feeling or a deeper intelligence. This question is not about reducing risk, and it does not rely on some imagined future where we're happy, right? It's a in the moment inquiry into our intuition. Does this path expand me as my authentic self, or does it diminish me? Does it make me small? And I'm finding that I can lean on this question with life's biggest and smallest inquiries, and that I can pose the question to the same situation at different points in my life and get a new answer. Like my job was for me. Like a path that at one point expanded you might now be diminishing you and keeping you small. And so when you come to this crossroads in life, consider asking questions around enlargement and expansion rather than the chase for happiness or the avoidance of fear. To go all in on YouTube with 2,000 subscribers, and as stupid as that sounds, and as much as I can logic my way into why this is the worst idea that I've ever had, I just know it's the right thing to do. Quitting a well-paying job to make YouTube videos for 2,000 subscribers is a terrible idea. At least through the lens of my old questions. But I didn't make this decision to be financially or physically free. I didn't make it out of security or safety. I didn't even make this choice because I think I'm going to be successful, to be honest with you. I made this choice because it feels like the most authentic and true thing that I can possibly do with my life right now. And so I share this question, I share this story with you, not because what I think I'm doing is clever or should be emulated by any means, but simply to embody my authenticity, to be seen in it, and ideally prompt you to consider areas where you can lean into your own. Because I've now really seen and pushed myself to the edge of living out of integrity, and I know what that feels like now. And now, as of today, actually, this morning was my first morning without my job. I can now experience and feel the relief and the empowerment of trusting my inner knowing. I don't know what's going to happen. There's plenty of uncertainty and risk. But at the end of today, I can look at you, I can look at myself, my partner, and feel completely confident that I trusted my intuition. And that's an amazing feeling. So. Holy shit. I f***ing did it. Onward. On this channel, I will be sharing insights along my journey towards a more free and authentic life. And if this resonates, I'd love if you subscribed and became part of the conversation. So, thank you so much for watching.